Hey, I'm Catherine, and I have 2 boyfriends. I know, it sounds crazy, but it works well for me. My first boyfriend is Nicholas. He's a total bad boy, and I love it. He's got tattoos all over his body, he's incredibly charming, and he's a real ladies' man. Even when we're out together holding hands, he'll still flirt with other girls, but I don't mind. I mean, even though he sees other girls, he's always paying me compliments and telling me I'm the most beautiful girl in the world. Last weekend, he took me to an Ed Sheeran concert, and now we're planning to fly to Costa Rica next summer. I can't wait. We're going to go jet skiing and diving, and it's going to be amazing. Of course, some girls would get upset about him dating other girls, but he has always made it clear that we are only together to have fun, and trust me, we have a lot of fun. He's not perfect, though. I guess if he was, I wouldn't need to date a second guy, because he can be really immature at times. Like, one day he will send me a text about how much he's thinking about me, and then he will suddenly disappear for 2 weeks without a word. Nicholas can be frustrating, but there's something about him which keeps me coming back for more. I mean, he's so damn attractive. But I'll admit that someday I need someone more reliable in my life, which is why I'm also dating my other boyfriend, Bernd. He's one of the sweetest, kindest people you'll ever meet. He's always asking me how I am and making little gestures to let me know he's thinking of me, like sending me flowers when we haven't seen each other for a few days. While Nicholas is a real bad boy, Bernd is the opposite. He's nothing but nice. He's top of his class, and he's going to be a lawyer after he graduates. He does volunteer work in his spare time, and he's thinking about joining the Peace Corps for a few years before he starts practicing law. He's just a thoroughly decent human being. Sounds like the perfect man, right? Well, that's the problem. He's so perfect, it's boring. He's so worried about saying the right thing, he never relaxes and lets loose. Like, when we go out for dinner, he gets annoyed if I laugh too loud, because he's all about fitting in and not making a fuss. I can't remember the last time we went to a party together. Nicholas is the total opposite. He's always joking around, saying dumb things to make me laugh. He doesn't care what other people think. He just wants to have fun. Don't get me wrong. Bernd has his moments, but only when he's drunk, and he doesn't drink that often. There was one time when we went to a restaurant with a live band for my birthday. I made him drink wine with me to celebrate. Because he's not used to alcohol, he got so drunk that he went on stage and tried to sing with the band. It was so funny, even though we got kicked out of the restaurant. I had a great time, but when Bernd was sober the next day, he said he was really ashamed and swore it would never happen again. When I told him it was fine and he should relax, he said he didn't want to embarrass himself again. It's a real shame, because if Bernd wasn't so uptight, maybe I'd ditch Nicholas and just date Bernd. I mean, I really do care about him, but I want someone who knows how to have fun as well as show their softer side. Dating both guys means I get to spend time with someone who's fun and with someone who's caring. And it's not like I'm hurting anyone. Bernd knows about Nicholas, and although he'd rather we were exclusive, he'd never stop me from seeing him, because he wants me to be happy. I've decided that if I hit 36 and I still haven't found that one man who has it all, then I'll settle down with someone like Bernd. At least he's kind and caring, and I know he'll be a good dad. Thank you for listening.
My parents and I were eating dinner when my dad suggested we should all take a DNA test to figure out from what country our ancestors had come to the U.S. I thought it was a great idea, but my mom got really upset and said, No, that's way too expensive. And I'm sure they want to sell our DNA information to other corporations. There's no way that I will allow you to do that. My dad and I were both surprised by her reaction, because she normally said yes to everything. But the problem was that my dad had already ordered the DNA ancestry test from the internet, and it wasn't cheap. So, me and my dad decided to take it in secret without telling Mom. When the results came back, both of us were very excited. It turned out my dad was 50% Irish and 50% German. But when I opened my results, It said that I was 40% French and 60% British. How was it possible that I had completely different ancestry results than my own dad? It took us a few seconds, but then we realized that the only possible explanation was that me and my dad were not related. I didn't know what to say, and my dad looked devastated. He was quiet for a moment, but then he said to me, "You will always be my son. Don't worry." Then he left the room and confronted my mom while I was listening around the corner. He said, Did you get pregnant by another man? Tell me the truth." My mom responded, "What are you talking about? Are you crazy?" Then my dad screamed, "Why does my own son not have my DNA?" My mom started crying and finally admitted that she had an affair with another man a long time ago. She said she was so sorry, but my dad continued to scream at her and said, "It's over! I don't ever want to see you again." Then he packed one big suitcase and left us. I felt so bad for my dad, because he didn't deserve any of this. Meanwhile, my mom cried for hours, but I just couldn't feel sorry for her. She had betrayed my dad in one of the worst ways possible, even though he was one of the most honest, loving, and caring people I know. He had never treated my mom badly, not a single time. When it was dinner time, my mom told me her side of the story. She said that before I was born, she and Dad had tried to get pregnant for more than a year, but without any success. She said she really wanted to have a baby, and that's why she slept with another man behind my dad's back. I felt disgusted when I heard her side of the story. She didn't admit that she had done anything wrong. Instead, she came up with excuses for why she had lied to my dad for all those years. I still hope they get back together, though, because even though their marriage wasn't perfect, they seemed quite happy for most of the time. But then again, how could my dad ever trust my mom again? He probably deserves someone better than her. In the end, all this doesn't change anything for me. I will always love my dad. And no, I'm not talking about my biological dad. I'm talking about my real dad.
Already knew what kind of girl Joanna is. Not a good one. She responded to my post, saying that none of it was true. But over the next few weeks, she tried a couple more times to steal my boyfriend at school. It's so pathetic. But she is the least of my problems. The real problem is that there aren't any good jobs in our small town, which means that at some point, my boyfriend will need to move to a bigger city anyway to find a good job. That's the only possible way to support such a big family. But there's no way we can afford rent in a big city with so many kids, so we won't be able to go with him. But I guess I should stop complaining. I'm lucky to have a boyfriend who does his best to take care of his children. Many fathers in this kind of situation would probably run away and start a new life. At least he's not like that.
Of course I felt bad afterwards. I never wanted to hurt my wife. And I wasn't sure if I had only broken up with her so I could date Joanne. Well, the next day at work, I asked Joanne out on a date. She got really excited and said, "Of course I want to go out with you." "But I thought you were married." "Yes, but I'm in the process of getting a divorce, so I'm free to do whatever I want," I responded. I can't describe how good it felt to be free again, and dating Joanne was the cherry on top of the ice cream. She had so much youthful energy, and we were always having a good time. But meanwhile, my wife kept on contacting me, saying she wanted us to try again. It got so annoying that at one point I wrote back to her saying, "No thanks. I've already found someone new. She's in good shape and appreciates me." Wow, I can't believe I said that to my own wife. I treated the person I once loved the most like dirty trash. But what I didn't expect was what my wife did next. She somehow found out who my new girlfriend was, and when I went on a picnic with her, my wife stormed up at us screaming, "I know who she is. Your girlfriend has been sleeping around with everyone when she was in high school." Apparently, my wife got so mad about me dating an 18-year-old girl that she contacted Joanne's old high school friends to dig up dirt on her. Wow, I'd never seen my wife so mad before. I realized that our divorce had taken a big toll on her, because she looked so exhausted and old. That day hit me hard, but I was able to forget about my wife by spending time with Joanne. It was so much fun to spend time with her in the beginning, but after a few weeks, I got bored of her too, and we broke up. Weirdly enough, right when I left Joanne's building and crossed the street, I got hit by a car. It was a serious accident, and the doctors had to keep me in an artificial coma for 2 whole days. When I woke up, I saw my wife. I was too weak to say anything, but I couldn't believe anyone would still love me, even after I had caused them so much pain. The next days, laying in the hospital gave me a lot of time to think. I came to the conclusion that the reason my marriage had been a disaster wasn't my wife's fault, but my own fault. Because in our first year of being married, everything was great. We always helped each other, and I was so in love that I didn't even notice my wife had any flaws. But in our second year, I forgot our anniversary for the first time, and I also stopped saying I love you, and those small things are so important. So, once I could walk again, I immediately went back to my wife and asked her for forgiveness. I promised to treat her again like I did when we first met, and luckily, she accepted my apology. Today, I'm petrified of destroying my relationship again, so I'm always buying her flowers and telling her how much I love her, because I think that's what a relationship is all about. It's about giving and caring. It's not about taking and wanting. Hey, let me know in the comments if you've ever been in a failing relationship. And was it your fault or the fault of your partner? Always. Thanks.
I have 3 sisters, and Rita is the cruelest of them. One time, she tied my younger sister Layla to a pole in our barn and put meat on the ground to attract predators. I found her the next morning disturbed and crying. She said, "A coyote came in here and I had to fight him off with a stick. Why would Rita do this to me?" "Because she's a monster. Just imagine a mountain lion had found you. Then you'd be dead now." Poor Layla was too kind for this world. Quite unlike my 4th sister, Sissy. She's my dad's favorite child because she's so pretty, even though she often stole money from him and constantly made up lies like, "Daddy, someone stole my dress and now it's gone. What shall I do?" "Oh, my poor little princess. How much money do you need to buy a new one?" "Oh, I saw a beautiful dress yesterday, but it costs $200. Can we afford that?" "Of course we can. You know I want you to be happy." I hated Sissy so much. I constantly thought about strangling her. And on Christmas Eve, she got a beautiful Barbie doll while I only got an inflatable mattress. Worst gift ever. I was so mad that I sneaked into her room at night and cut Barbie's head off with a knife. Of course, when she told Dad about it, he screamed at us, "Who destroyed Sissy's Barbie doll?" No one admitted to the crime, so he took away the Christmas gifts of all 3 of us and threw them in the trash. Anyway, a few years later, my cute classmate Steve came over so we could study together. But then my sisters saw him, and Rita said, "You are so handsome. Are you my sister's boyfriend?" "No, we're just doing a team project." "Really? So you are still looking for a girlfriend? Because I'm available at the moment." I freaked out, screaming, "Leave him alone, Sissy, you shameless whore!" But it was hopeless. She looked him in the eyes and said, "I've never kissed a boy before," while stroking his chest. I was about to rip her head off, but Rita beat me to it and threw her to the ground, screaming, "Go away, or I'm gonna break your pretty face!" Meanwhile, I used my chance to pull Steve into my room. I didn't have much time and asked, "Do you find me attractive?" He was too shy to respond, so I went ahead and just kissed him. Luckily, soon after, we even became a couple, and I finally felt like the most badass of my 3 sisters. But guess what Sissy did? She wrote Steve's older brother a message on Facebook, asking him out on a date, even though he was 8 years older than her. But it doesn't surprise me. Sissy has always been a shameless tramp. I don't want to know what she did to seduce him, but at least Dad wasn't happy when she brought her boyfriend home. He said, "He is too old for you. Why can't you date someone your age?" "But Daddy, I'm not your little girl anymore. I'm growing up." My dad was speechless, and then Sissy walked over to me, saying, "Sister, isn't it cool that we are dating brothers? Even though mine is much hotter than yours." "Did you know he already graduated from college?" I gotta admit, her boyfriend was cooler than mine, but then I did some research and found out he had been kicked off his high school for drug use. I immediately told Dad about it, and he got so scared for his little princess Sissy that he completely forbid her from seeing him anymore. I told her, "Oops, seems like it's over between you and your boyfriend. I wonder how that happened." "Well, it's a bit annoying, but at least I know that once I'm an adult, I can always find a hotter boyfriend than you." I tried to ignore her comment, but it stuck with me for years. And when she turned 20, she sent me a photo of her and some B-class actor she was dating. She wanted to make me jealous, and it worked. But I didn't give up and also started dating someone. Maybe my boyfriend was just a normal guy, but I knew we could have a better relationship than Sissy if we just put in enough effort. So I chose tango dancing as a hobby for us. And just 2 years later, we won our first small tournament. It gave me enough confidence to finally meet up with Sissy and her perfect boyfriend. Of course, she talked non-stop about their good life and fancy vacations. But when she asked me, "So what is your boyfriend doing?" I just looked at Marcus and said, "I don't really care, but he is a hell of a good lover." We started giggling and he gave me a kiss. Well, it's cute that you don't care about material things, but if you want to come visit us this weekend, let me know. Our house has 6 bedrooms and a great view of Los Angeles. Oh, I'm sorry, but we already made plans. You two? Like what? Oh, sister, why are you so interested in my life? Well, my boyfriend and I go tango dancing this weekend. By the way, do you two have any hobbies? Of course, we go to the gym together all the time. Really? You don't look that fit, to be honest. That's when her boyfriend said, "Yeah, she actually prefers eating Cheetos on the couch." I burst out laughing while Sissy gave her boyfriend the death stare. It was so funny, but today I honestly don't care anymore. I just wish her the best.